Well, hello, Julie Graham here, and today I'm going to do for you my full face makeup tutorial. So this is going to be start to finish how I apply my everyday makeup. So I'll be showing you along the way the products that I'm using, the tools that I'm using, and hopefully some of this will be helpful for you if you're maybe new to makeup or you just want to kind of hone your skills or just learn a few tricks or new products that you can try. So first things first, I'm doing this, kind of in the middle of the day, and so I've been up for a while, and so I want to make sure that my face is clean to apply my makeup. So I'm just using a Pond's makeup wipe. These are my favorite. I've used, off brands like Target brand. Not as good. There's something about this cloth that I think is really effective. And I use it in my application every day, even if I'm starting right out of the shower. I do still end up using these wipes, so I would recommend getting them to just have on hand. Again, you can use another wipe if you prefer. So I'm just making sure my whole face is clean and ready to apply makeup. So one thing that is definitely different about the way I apply makeup is that I start with my eyes first. For me, there's a couple reasons for that. The first one is actually just because it's my favorite part, and I spend the most time on my eyes. I think they're the best feature that you have. That's where you can kind of have the most fun with your makeup, lips being second. And so I just spend a lot more time on my eyes, and so it's important for me that I apply my eyes first because it does require a little bit more work. And I will end up having to, kind of clean some mistakes up along the way with that wipe. And so if I apply the rest of my face first and then I do my eyes and I make mistakes, then I'm basically going to be kind of recreating work for myself, because if I have to clean something up, then I'll have to reapply that makeup again. And so for me, my first number one best tip I can give you is to learn to apply your eye makeup first, so that you don't recreate work for you later. So I remember sharing this tip with a friend before, and her just saying, it felt so weird for me to apply my eye makeup first. So I understand it's different maybe, but I think that once you develop that habit and really apply it, it will pay off for you. So first things first, my first tip is to use an eyelid primer, and I'm using MAC. The line is Paint Pot, and I'm using Bare Study as a primer. Now, you could use a different primer if you like, but this is what I use. I think it's probably like $16, and I use it every time I apply my makeup, which now that I'm working from home isn't as often. But even when I was using it daily, I still used one pot for lots of months, so it's worth its money. You can also collect the empty jars, and every time you have 6 empty MAC products, you can trade them in for a free eyeshadow or lipstick. So hello, why wouldn't you want to do that? This is MAC Paint Pot in the Bare Study shade, and I'm just using a really cheap little makeup applicator. I get them at Target actually. They look like this. And this is what I use to apply the primer. I don't use it to apply eyeshadow, but I do use it every day to apply the primer. So I'm just kind of going into my paint pot. It's just kind of a shimmery neutral tone. And honestly, it actually acts as one of the shades in my eyeshadow. You could actually use this as eyeshadow on days where you don't want to have any makeup on except eyelid primer. You could use this with your finger. And you can use it with a finger instead of using the applicator if you want. You could use it and it would just be a barely there eyelid tone on a day where you don't really want to apply a lot of makeup. So I've put some on my brush. I'm sorry, I guess technically it's a sponge, and I'm putting it. This is the downside of doing a tutorial, because using the camera as my mirror is foreign. I'm putting it on my whole lid. So I'm going all the way up to the brow line, all the way in, down the whole area. So as you can see, I have a little bit of a shimmer here, which is going to really help the whole look of my eye. Hello, I want some light. Sorry, should have had that on the beginning. Nice and light here at this time of day in my bathroom though. Whew. This is a scary look right now. Okay, so I've gone back into my paint pot, and now I'm gonna apply the primer for the other lid. Oh,
Hopefully you can see this, but it's not that advanced. We're just making sure I've covered my whole lid with some primer, all the way up to the brow, all the way out, making sure I have coverage all the way.
All right, so primer on both eyes. Pretty exciting. All right, so now I'm done with this. So I actually put my makeup away as I finish it, as I use it. So I don't know, maybe that's a practical tip. All right, first step is take a wide flat brush. This I probably got out of some cheap set because it doesn't even have a name on it. You can use a ELF brush, which is available at Target. Looks like this. For your application. I just happen to like, see how this one's just a little bit bigger? For my first shade, I like a little bit of a bigger brush. And honestly, I had one that I loved forever. Actually, I think it was Avon. Here it is, actually. I don't know why I don't still use this brush. See how it's just a little bit bigger? This brush here, I'll explain, I use for my second color. So for your first color, you just kind of want a wide, fluffy brush. I need to get this guy back into rotation. Why did I stop using it? Totally gonna start using this. It just needs to be washed. All right, so this is what I'm using for my first shade, wide flat brush, and I'm going into my everyday color. So here's a little hint. These are my kind of everyday colors. This is Retro Spec by MAC. This is Satin Taupe by MAC. Retro Spec is my base color. Satin Taupe is my kind of everyday color, and I sometimes maybe layer a darker color or a purple over it if I'm kind of doing something different. But pretty much every day I use these two colors. Then I'll often use this pink, honestly, I don't know the color. I don't know the name of it, and I can't take it out because it'll fall apart. I've dropped it a few times, and so it's broken. But it's just kind of a rosy pink gold, and it's a really pretty kind of highlighting color. I'll show you where I use it. And then this is a purple shade, which is great for greenish eyes, which I have. And honestly, I wear a lot of purple, so sometimes I'll put a little bit of purple in my eyeshadow as well. I used to do it more frequently than I do now. Literally almost every day, I'm just using these two shades. And then once in a while, I'll pop in a grayish color for a smoky eye. So wide flat brush into my Retro Spec, and I'm just kind of making sure I get a good amount on my brush. So I've covered the brush. And part of the reason we're using a primer is because if you don't use a primer, by halfway through your day, and I'm covering the whole lid is getting this shimmery gold color. If you don't like shimmer, you can use a flat tone. I just happen to like shimmer, so I use shimmer. You can try a matte color if you like, but I would recommend at least on this base color using shimmer. I don't know, I'm a diva, I like shimmer. But the reason you want to use the primer is because if you don't, you'll get that halfway through the day caking where your makeup is all sitting in the crease of your eye. Yikes. No, that is not a good look. What about days when you put your makeup on at 7 a.m. and then you have an all-day work function and then you want to go out at night? If you're not using a primer, you will get that crease. Yuck. That's why I use the primer. Totally worth the $16 to $20. Maybe it's more. I honestly don't remember, but I know it's totally worth it for me. And so I definitely recommend using a primer. Like I said, you could try to find a cheaper primer if you like, but most likely a knockoff or like even an ELF primer. I wouldn't use an ELF primer. I tend to use nicer products on my eyes because it's a sensitive area. And again, because to me, the eyes are the most important. So I reapplied some more on my brush before I went to the second eye. And I'm just covering the whole lid with this color. So whole lid, shimmery with a wide brush over the primer. All right, step one. Step two is to come back in with that ELF eyeshadow. It's literally eyeshadow C brush. These are $1 each at Target. So honestly, what I do, I ordered them on the website before they were available at Target years ago. And I got like 30 of them. You don't need that many. But for me, I got a lot of them because I wanted to basically have one for every different color. And at the time I was playing a little bit more and using more eyeshadow colors. You probably need a couple. So I would get a couple of them. And then I wash my brushes probably once a week. Maybe I should do it more, I don't know. But I have one brush that always kind of gets the Satin Taupe, that other brush that always gets the Retro Spec. I'd use a different brush if I was applying on a different color. Then I can just know that different brushes have different kind of colors on them. So I'm taking my eyeshadow brush, I'm going into my satin, ooh, I'm losing some of that pretty gold. It just fell out. Normally I don't pick them up, it just stays on the counter, but I'm trying to show you. So I'm taking my C brush, patting it into my satin taupe, and this is just a shimmery, honestly it's just a really pretty shimmery brown. Okay, so this is where you'll have to practice a little bit before you get the technique down, but that's okay. I literally pull my eyelid out, and I'm gonna come in to the crease, starting on the outside, going to about halfway in, and I'm just focusing on getting this brown color into the crease. And then see, I just did the crease, but then I'm gonna come a little bit into along the bottom. So I'm making a C. See what I did there? Hopefully you can see. It's not the best lighting, sorry. I'm not a videographer. All right, so, and you can also see I got a little bit of color out here. This is the kind of stuff I'm saying I'm gonna clean up. So I've done a C, and now I'm gonna come, I'm adding more to my brush, and now I'm gonna come with the other eye, and I'm gonna create that C. C for crease. And then a little bit into the bottom. All right. This is not good lighting, I'm so sorry. So hopefully you can see that now I have kind of that gold shimmer on the inside, the sea brown on the outside, and we're going to blend these two together to create one kind of, because right now it kind of looks a little like there's the dark, there's the light, but we're gonna blend. So we're gonna go back with our original brush, put a little more gold on, and we're literally just going to kind of blend. So I'm coming into where the colors meet, and I'm just kind of buffering it. I'm blending it so that there's not a distinct line from where one color is to the other color. So I'm just blending the two. All right, next step is to come in with a small angled brush. This is a really cheap, crappy brush that I've used every day, and it's from Walmart. And the last time I was at Walmart, I looked to see if they had any more of them because, girl, I need a new one. But they didn't have it, and so I just keep using it because I haven't found a really small angled brush like this by anyone else. So if anyone knows of one, tell me. Coffee break. Okay, this is the liner I love. I use it every day. I use a brown liner for my everyday. I use a black liner with a smoky eye or a false lash. I've also used this brown with a false lash and it's fine, but I do like a dark black liner once in a while for drama. So this is also by MAC. The line is called Fluid Line. The color for brown is Dip Down. I don't know if you can see that. Dip Down is the brown. It's just a deep brown color. I also have one in the black. The black is called Black Track. These are probably also about $16. And when you have an empty and you have 6 of them, you take them into MAC and you get yourself a free makeup or a free item. So it's worth it to me. Again, I use it every day. Something to know about this is it's actually, what's the word? Waterproof, which I think is great. It's great for me because I'm a crier. It's true. I'm a crier. I could cry a commercial. I could cry talking to a friend and sharing, I don't know, a prayer request or just something that's going on. So I like to wear waterproof mascara and eyeliner every day. It's not a big deal to me. I like never having to worry that maybe if I wear my makeup through a workout or something, it's not going to go everywhere. So it is waterproof. You'll want to keep that in mind. But I really love it. It's Dip Down by Fluid Line. So I'm taking this, it's like a gel. I'm taking this little tiny brush and I'm just applying a little bit onto both sides of the brush. And then I'm kind of coming along the side of the jar to make sure I don't have too much. You don't need a ton, but you do need enough to paint a line. All right, this is probably the hardest part of applying your makeup. You'll need the most practice when it comes to this, so once you get it down, it won't take you very long. So this is what we're going to apply, and we are going to wing our eyeliner. You want to wear a wing, ladies, for a couple reasons. One, it's cool. It's not really a reason, but sure. It looks cool. Secondly, it actually makes you look younger. So if you take the eyeliner and wing it up a little bit, it makes your whole eyes feel like they're up a little bit, and it makes your whole face come up a little bit. It makes you look younger. So learn the technique of a winged eyeliner.
So I come in, again, I'm pulling my eye out. Basically, I'm showing where I want to put the line of color, and I'm gonna do short little dashes along my eye until I've got it from all the way at the end, all the way across on the top line. Now, getting the wing takes a little bit of practice, and I do short little lines until I've got it just a little bit further than the end of my eye and winging up a little bit. Now, you could make it more dramatic, you can make it less dramatic. You do what you feel comfortable with. Probably start with a little less dramatic, and then maybe depending on the function to what you're going to, if it's a little fancier, maybe you do a little bit bolder line. If it's an everyday look, maybe you do a little less dramatic. So this is hard for me to do into the camera, but we'll try. Short little, I'm actually gonna look over in the mirror. Short little dashes, and you wanna get as close to the actual lid. And then on the outside, I'm just winging it out. Because this is one of the harder parts, it's really hard to do while talking. Because this is one of the harder parts, this is where you'll likely mess up and need to clean it up. And again, why I like to do my eyes first. Because I want them to look really good. And if I do them afterwards, I probably would be less bold in my application if my whole face was done and I didn't want to risk having to mess it up. So this is why I like to do my eyes first, because I want them to really pop, and then I add the rest of my face. All right, I'm gonna put this on without talking so that it actually works. Okay. And because I'm literally only going to Costco, I'm not gonna do a super bold eye, but I've pulled my eye out. I get that little tiny wing, and then that's one. See the difference? Eyeliner with a little bit of wing, no eyeliner. So now I'm gonna reapply on this side. Short little dashes. All the way across into the crease. And you want to make sure that you're matching the thickness. So if you ended up applying it a little thicker than maybe normal, then you want to make sure you apply the same thickness to the other eye. So there is some symmetry involved where you're matching your two eyes. The thickness looks about the same, the wing span is about the same, but as you can see, I have to clean up a little bit underneath here. This is definitely not the best camera angle, I'm so sorry. So I'm taking my wipe, and sometimes I even end up kind of winging, like pulling the wing a little bit and making it better with my wipe. I wonder if the light's a little better if we move. I'm so sorry. Just keep in mind, I'm not a professional videographer. Let's be real. Am I a professional anything? All I've done is pull it down. I'm trying. See, a little bit of a wing. A little bit of a wing. Okay, now for me, this is definitely optional. You can decide whether or not you want eyeliner underneath. I feel like I look half done if I don't line both underneath and above. And as you can see, I accidentally got some here, so I'm gonna clean that up. So I start with a completely unlined eye on both. So if you're gonna line underneath, reapply some more color to your brush. And you don't line the whole eye. You go to about 3/4. And again, short, small dashes. And this is again why I like to do my eyes first, because I can let it be thick and then I can clean it up. So see, I've messed it up. It's too thick, it's not meeting, but that's okay. I'm gonna use my wipe to clean it up. So, I gotta look at my real mirror. All right, so now I've got both underneath, and I'm gonna come in with my wipe, and I'm actually gonna make it a bit of a thinner. It's too thick, it looks a little trampy, but I can start with thick and then clean it up and make it thinner. So looking in my actual mirror, I'm gonna come in and clean it up. And see how it's messed up over here? I'm gonna just clean it off. Abracadabra. Gotta love these wipes. Okay, so now I'm looking in the mirror to see how much thickness I have on my eye that I've already cleaned, and I'm matching the other one to it. Symmetry is huge. You want your eyes to look the same. Again, they're the focal point of your face. So I'm cleaning up. Now they look the same. Step back. You can see that my eyes look the same. All right, next step, putting my eyeliner away. The next step is to come back in. For me, you can skip this step, but I really, like I said, like my eyes to pop. So I'm gonna add a little fresh gold from the top to the bottom to fill in where I don't have color here. And it's basically just bringing the whole look of the eye together. So this is ghetto, but this is what I do. I get my brush a little bit wet and it goes into the gold. And this is where I use a little bit of that pretty pinky gold. Again, not necessary, but it is what I do. So I'm using some of the gold and some of the pinky gold on a wet brush. And I'm coming in and I'm being careful not to cover the line that I just created of color. So I'm going back over the original gold and see how I'm going into both colors. So again, this is more blending, putting a little bit more on. And I'm gonna very carefully come underneath my eye and bring some of this pinky gold bright tone to meet the liner underneath. And you can go all the way because you're gonna clean it up. More pink and more gold to the other eye. So I always do this thing where I pull my eyelid out. So I'm going above, being careful not to cover the line. Then I'm coming underneath. This is gonna make your eyes pop, ladies. It looks like a lot right now because you don't have the rest of your face done, but it will even out. And then I go back to my brush that I have the brown on. Again, this is definitely an optional step, but I like a bold eye, so I like to bring the full face color. All of the look of my eye is central to me. This is definitely an unnecessary step if you don't want to. Optional, not unnecessary, optional. I do a little bit of wetness. What the wetness does is just makes the color bolder. So I've put a little bit of brown on here and I'm gonna line underneath the liner with my brown color. And I'm coming up to underneath my eye. See what I've done there? Brown all the way and under. I am gonna clean this up. I'm gonna take some of it off. It's not gonna be as thick. FYI, if you're doing your makeup for a video that you're gonna be in or a photo shoot, I definitely recommend this. And I'm now coming in and I'm cleaning it up. I'm taking probably a third of the width that I just created with that brown and gold, and I'm taking it off. So see how much I just took off? But I'm getting a little bit still of both of those tones staying. I just really like the complete look that I have. Some of the gold and the brown from up top is now below. And all of this can be done a lot faster once you get used to the technique. It normally takes me about 15, 20 minutes tops to apply all of my makeup. It's so far taken us 23 minutes to apply this, but that's because I'm showing you along the way. I promise it's not gonna take a half an hour, 40 minutes to apply your makeup once you get the technique down. All right, now you're going to take your mascara. These are the mascaras I use primarily. Like I said, I almost always use waterproof, so this is my everyday mascara. I like it, it comes in waterproof or regular, so this is the waterproof, and this is just L'Oreal. I'm not against a nicer mascara, but this is just what I use. L'Oreal Power Volume, and it's a 24-hour, and this is a waterproof one. Again, you can get it in non-waterproof, and it's just a good, thick brush that's gonna really separate your lashes. I get it in blackest black. I want my eyeshadow, mascara, want my lashes to be bold. I also like, also by L'Oreal, Fiber Lash.
false fiber lashes. It's supposed to look like false lashes. The brush is on, this is my one that I happen to have that isn't waterproof. So I use this on days that's not waterproof. It's a long skinny applicator. I like it. I'm sure it's available in waterproof as well. For some reason I only have this in non-waterproof, and these I have in waterproof. This is a thicker brush. See, it's just a lot thicker. I also like to take a little bit of lavender essential oil. When I first open a mascara, I put 1 drop into it, mix it in. I usually mix it in after I've applied my mascara for the day because I don't want to go right to my eye with lavender oil. And it just kind of helps your lashes grow more naturally. I've definitely noticed a difference. All right, so this is my mascara. You know how to apply mascara, but I would just say slow down. Slow down and be really intentional about separating your lashes as you apply it. Hang on, I gotta look in here so I can actually see. And I definitely think you need to do some on top and below. Some people maybe don't apply mascara below on your lower lashes. Why wouldn't you? They're there. You want to separate them. My dog came into the bathroom and then demanded to get out. All right, I reapply in between. The irony is I can hear my husband is watching a YouTube video in the other room as I'm making one. Come on, that's funny. His is on painting cars though. I'm painting faces, he's painting cars. All right, so we're gonna let that dry. All right, so that's the eyes. That's where we spend the most of our time is on the eyes. All right, next step is to apply some highlighter and some concealer. So I put my concealer underneath my eyes, and this is just ELF under eye concealer, cheap line. I will say I have good skin, so I don't have to spend a lot of money on the rest of my makeup. As I get older, I'm sure that I will. And you may need a nicer line. Don't feel like you have to use what I'm using, but I'm showing you what I'm using. So I'm going to use the concealer for underneath my eyes and to cover any blemishes I might have. I happen to have one today. And then I'm going to use highlighter on my nose and in a couple places to make my whole face look thinner when it's done. So I'll show you how we do that. All right, so this is just my ELF under eye concealer, and I'm going to make a triangle under each eye. And then I'm also going to apply some to any blemishes I have. I'm like making sure there aren't any other ones that definitely need coverage. No, that'll do. Then I take my highlighter, and I have a larger nose, so I like to try to play that down. I also like to try to take the look away from lines on my forehead. I do a line here because along with the highlighter, with the contouring color, it's gonna thin out your face. This is again more for my nose issue. Scary, right? Now I'm just taking a small cheap sponge and I'm gonna basically just blend in all of these colors. So I tend to start with whatever I applied first because we don't want it to be drying. And I'm just kind of lightly dabbing it into my skin. And I do want the color to stay as much as possible. And I want the lighter color to stay. I don't want to blend it so much you can't even see that it's on my face. Because we're going to apply additional makeup over it. And we want the changes in color to remain. And then I applied my concealer here. Then I applied the forehead lines. And I'm just making sure that it gets kind of blended in. I'm so sorry about that video. I would tell him to turn it off, but he's not going to. Alright. Now I'm just applying here. You can skip this part and just do the concealer under your eyes if you want, but I wanted to show you how I do my whole face. All right, next step is to choose a contouring color. And for me, I use this color by MAC, the line. It's actually a blush, but you can see the color is just a brown color. It's kind of like it could be used as a matte bronzer, but I don't do anything in matte. I like shimmer. And it's just a few shades darker than my natural color. So it would be too dark to use as my foundation or, an all over color, but it's a few shades darker than my skin. And I'm going to apply it in a few places with an angled brush. I'd recommend getting a ELF bronzing brush. This isn't what I'm going to use only because I only have one of these and it has a different product already on it. So I'm using something kind of similar, not ideal, but that would be your most ideal brush, either a blush brush or this angled brush, because we're going to apply it on an angle. So that's what I would recommend. So I'm just using this flat brush instead. I'm going to go into the color, get a little on there. And this is where you got to practice your duck face, because you need to kind of shape your face where you want it. And we're going to do a color on underneath our cheekbone to make our face look thinner. Not a ton. I don't recommend this brush. This is actually not the brush I normally use. The brush I normally use would have been confusing for you, and it's not a good technique, so I was trying to use something better. Okay, so I've found the line. So it's not ginormously huge and different, but it's just enough to create some shading. All right. Then I have another smaller brush for the other areas, and this is an ELF contour brush, small round brush. Get a little bit of color on here. Because this is a smaller brush, the color ends up being more concentrated, so I like to blow it off. Okay, I'm going to come right down the bridge of my nose next to where I did the white. So if you happen to have a larger nose, you might want to do this step too. Oh my goodness, that video. How annoying. So sorry. All right, so down my nose, and then I tend to do a little here. Oh, I forgot to show you here too. You also want to do a little bit along kind of your forehead with whatever first brush you were using. Just right in here. And then sometimes I'll also line my face. But don't worry, you're not going to get that ugly makeup line, because we're going to apply the rest of our makeup really well blended, so you don't get like a makeup, no makeup. Yikes, you don't want that. All right, so that's it for contouring if you want to do that step. Now you're going to come in with your foundation. So when I use liquid, I use one of two kinds. I don't use liquid a lot though, only because, like I said, I have pretty good skin, so I don't need a ton of coverage. And living in Southwest Florida, having liquid makeup on my face is a form of torture. It's just too hot most of the time. But I really like Revlon's Photo Ready, so you can get that. I really do like this. If I'm doing a photo shoot, I will probably use this. I also like this professional stuff from MAC, Matchmaster. This is just a lot thicker than I need on a daily basis, but I do like it if you need powder foundation or liquid foundation. But my everyday go-to is this L'Oreal True Match Natural. So it's like a mineral based, and it comes with a little brush on it, so you can use the brush if you don't have brushes. I use an ELF brush for my application. The ELF powder brush is what I use. I believe it's $3 at Target. And so I come in with this round, flat, full brush into my powder. I go over the sink so I don't get it everywhere. So I'm putting about this much on my brush, and then I'm round circular motions over my whole face. So this is me blending all of those other colors that are already on my face together with this coverage. So this is what, my third application on my right side? That's a little bit much, but I'm going to put it across my forehead. Round circular motion. I also tend to usually do my makeup before my hair. Today I'm not really doing my hair. This is my hair today. But in case you wondered, I tend to do my makeup and then do my hair. For the kind of that same reason I do my eye makeup first. I don't want to do my hair and then ruin it by applying my makeup. All right. Round circular motions, making sure you get color
everywhere. And we're going all the way kind of down onto our neck because we don't want that ugly, obvious makeup line. All right. So this, for my color, I like this true, it's natural beige. I don't know if you think you have similar color to me. You're just gonna have to play until you find the right one. But see, you don't see all of those lines, but there's just a little bit of different shades now. Oh, my nose ring's trying to come out. And I went all the way up into my hair. See, this is why you don't wanna have to worry about having messed up your hair, but you don't wanna have crazy lines. So you go all the way into your hair, down around your neck. All right. So that's foundation. Then I take a little bit of blush or bronzer. I like Refined Golden Bronzing Powder by MAC. And I use a wide bronzing brush. And I just put a little on my brush. Then I blow it off. And I'm literally just kind of doing this. Again, I'm making sure that I don't get that crazy makeup line. And I might do a little bit along the sides here. The other day I was doing makeup for somebody, and I found that I had this really cheap, really shimmery bronzing by ELF. It's Sun-Kissed. And if you're like me and you like shimmer, this stuff is so pretty. So I put it on this girl that I was doing her makeup, and I loved it. And I was like, ooh, I'm gonna add that to me. So I just have this powdery brush, and I'm just doing a tiny, just along the top of my cheeks here, because seriously, it's gorgeous. I don't know if you can see it, but it's so pretty. So I'm really liking this right now. That would be another optional step. All right, only a couple more left. Okay, so this is another optional step that I love. I discovered it a couple years ago when I was at MAC and they were doing my makeup. This is Mineralized Skin Finish. It's a highlighting powder, completely unnecessary. Optional. I keep saying unnecessary when I mean optional. They sampled it on me and of course I had to buy it, but you don't need it. But I do like the layer of color it brings. It's just a shimmery pink, and that's what I said I use this brush for. So I just come in along the side there, and it's going underneath my eye and out, and then it's coming across my brow. See how I'm just having some highlight underneath and around, and they kind of meet each other. This is just like the best possible combination if you're having your photos taken or you're going to be in a video. This is the way the light is going to bounce off of your face the best to make you look the best. Optional, but really pretty. So that is Mineralized Skin Finish by MAC as well. All right, we only have one more step, and that is brows. Man, a lot of people skip the step of completing your brows, and I think that's a mistake. Now, there's this ugly thing happening going around where people are making their brows like crazy bold and like uber really shaped. Not necessary, but you do want to take your brow and just fill it in. Now, I have pretty good natural brow shape, but I'm still going to use this ELF Eyebrow Treat and Tame. Here's the problem. I think it might be discontinued, but I love this stuff. But you're going to find something similar that's just it's basically like a mascara for your brows. So you want something that's going to take a little bit of color. See, it's kind of like my natural hair color, and we're bringing it to the brows. So you want something that's actually a brush that has color, and you're just gonna fill it in. So I just want you to really focus on what this brow is gonna look like compared to this one once it has the color on it. My child plays with it, so it's actually kind of broken. And this just is bringing a little bit of shape, color, and definition to my brow. Come on, doesn't that look way better than this one? It's not too much, but it's enough to create a difference in just the put together look. I love it. Freaking love this stuff. I'm gonna have to find something soon. All right. An interesting thought, I used this a couple weeks ago on a bride who didn't have the same color as me. She actually had she was a bridesmaid, excuse me. She had a red hair color, and it still worked. So
you can get away with a lot of different colors with kind of like this dark blonde look. I also used it on a little girl who had reddish hair. So not too much, but it's just putting a little bit of shape to my brow. Definitely don't skip that step. All right, last step is blush. I love blush, and I like a bold blush. So I am using also Mineralize from MAC, and the color I choose is Gentle, which I think is funny because it's a pretty bold pink. It's shimmery as well. Use whatever you like. I'm using an ELF blush brush, going right into my color. And then I do a really cheesy smile, and I focus on the apple, and then I pull it back to my hairline. Cheesy to the hairline. So like apple hair. I also put a dab on my nose and on my chin. All right, so this is the finished look. Now, sometimes I'll look at my face after I've applied my, what's that called, blush, and it looks a little too bold. Here's the deal. I like bold blush. I like bold blush, and I cannot lie. So you may want to pick a less bold color. You could do like a mauve-y color. That's very pretty. I like that as well. Or you can do what I'll sometimes do. Is like come back in with my powder brush and just kind of go over it. So it's there, but I'm kind of blending. See, it took it down a little bit doing that. All right, so that's my full face makeup afterwards. Not too much. Just right. This is why I do my eyes first. So now I didn't have to come back in and take off all of my concealer or some of my highlighter, or any of those steps that I took on my eyes. So this is my finished face. Of course, then I'll add a lip, but all of my lipsticks are in my purse. I do my lipstick as I'm headed out the door or right before I arrive wherever I'm going. So that's not, to me, that's not actually part of my makeup application. I know that's weird, but I definitely recommend a bold lip. All right, so that is my everyday makeup application. If you have questions, feel free to message me through Facebook. I'm facebook.com/julie.graham399. All right, or you can find me on my like page, which was facebook.com/thejuliegraham. All right, thanks for watching. Hope you're having fun applying your makeup.